Hey gamers, -10 here. Today we're going to cover a commonly used app called iCue, which is Corsair's main app that manages all of its peripherals and hardware. iCue is definitely one of the more clunky apps, and it does take reps to really understand how to use it with your gaming rig. Now, I've included chapter markers down below in case you would like to jump to a specific section. To open iCue, I almost always open the app from the system tray in the lower right-hand corner of your Windows screen. The icon looks like this, and after you click on the icon, gamers will be presented with a number of options. I find these options to be very helpful if you're using a Corsair keyboard or mouse, as it will show the battery status and for your keyboards, a list of keyboard shortcuts. I really wish other keyboard companies would provide a shortcut to the shortcuts. For software updates, gamers can quickly check for any iCue updates, but for firmware, gamers have to open the iCue app. To open the app, gamers need to select Bring iCue to the foreground. Not sure why it doesn't say Open iCue, but this is what Corsair has always done. Once opened, gamers will be presented with the homepage. Like most apps, iCue suffers from endless navigation options. You'll just have to get used to it. One feature I appreciate about iCue is it lists all your Corsair gear in the center of the homepage. For my iCue homepage, I have my AIO pump, my fans, and the fan hub, iCue Link, my PSU, and my Corsair K65 Plus, along with its wireless receiver. If you're in the market for a good value gaming keyboard, the K65 Plus remains an excellent 75% option. Along with your gear, on the top left are menu options to your dashboard and the Murals RGB lighting, and at the bottom left are the sensors from your PC rig hardware. I refer to these hardware stats a lot when running games, especially games that are in early access that haven't been optimized. At the top right, you'll often see notifications with the blue number, and next to the notifications, the overall iCue settings. Like I said at the beginning, there is a lot going on within the home screen. One of the more often used features is updates, but it's also one of the more odd features of iCue because gamers have to go to multiple screens to update their software and firmware. In future iCue versions, I hope Corsair can just create a single screen for all updates. Right now, it's a jumbled mess. To update all of your hardware and device software, click on the gear icon at the upper right-hand corner of the iCue app. The third option down lists software updates, and click on this option. At the lower right-hand corner, click on Check Updates. iCue will quickly check all of your device software and update as needed. Now for firmware updates, gamers can choose device settings from the settings menu or go to device settings through one of the devices listed in your iCue center screen. For me, I normally go to the device settings by clicking on any gear icon that appears on one of your devices at the center page. I'll click on my AIO pump icon. Once open, gamers will need to click through each device settings to check for firmware updates. For my iCue setup, iCue Link Systems Hub, my K65 Plus receiver, and the keyboard all need firmware updates from time to time. Now, why not just have one area for firmware updates? I don't have any good ideas. Now, it does take some time to get used to figuring out how to do your software and firmware updates, but this is how gamers have to update their Corsair gear. One of the primary core iCue features that is a standout is the ability for gamers to get data readouts on most of their rig's hardware and gaming gear. Often, I'll be playing a game and keep the iCue dashboard up to make sure my CPU, GPU, and memory modules are all operating normally and not overheating. To get to the dashboard, at the top left, click on the dashboard menu option. Now my dashboard is already populated with most of my hardware, but it's an easy setup. To make changes to your dashboard, gamers need to click on the 3 square boxes with the plus symbol at the top right corner. From here, gamers can select what they want or don't want to see. For myself, I have my CPU, GPU, integrated GPU, RAM, AIO, fan speeds, and storage devices all showing in the dashboard. Additional options include hiding or showing the graph and expanding the view. I keep my dashboard items in the contracted view in order to show as much data as possible. There are other third-party software providers that gamers can use to monitor their hardware, but the iCue dashboard feature is one of the most complete dashboards in the market, and it's really easy to use. When it comes to adjusting your gaming rig's RGB, there is no quick solution. Windows Dynamic Lighting attempted to be the one RGB controller to rule them all, but so far that's been elusive. I use iCue to control my Corsair's gear, RGB, and for everything else, I use Armory Crate or a sync tool. Gamers will just have to figure out what works best for your setup. In the event you're using a Corsair AIO and fans, iCue is the best to control these items RGB. To use the Murals feature, click on the Murals menu item at the top left. This will take you to the Murals homepage. What Murals allows gamers to do is to assign the same RGB to all of your Corsair devices. If Murals RGB is available for your hardware, your gear will appear in the center. For me, this includes my AIO pump, the fans, and my K65 Plus keyboard. Now, recently, I've been running a rainbow RGB effect across all of my gear, as it's easily one of the most popular lighting options across all gaming manufacturers. Now, in the event gamers want to change the color, you can click on a preset, for example, Corsair Yellow or Liquid. The effects are implemented almost immediately. In the event you want to create a custom RGB effect, click on the plus sign next to the Murals top menu. Gamers can select from a few options like audio lighting or monitor screen. The ones I've mostly used are static color and gradient. So for this video, let's select gradient. Click next. From here, gamers then can choose the colors they want to see. Now, I live in Seattle and I'm a huge Seattle Seahawks fan, so I'm going to select neon green and navy blue with an angular display. Click next to give it a name. So I'm going to call this lighting Seahawks and then click Create. Murals is pretty easy to use, so play around with the different custom effects and see what works best for your personal situation. Again, iCue's Murals is one of the better RGB control softwares for gaming gear. One thing to note, for your keyboard and mice, for them to appear in Murals and receive synced lighting, both need to be plugged into your PC. Hey, a quick commercial for my channel. If you're finding this quick tip guide helpful, I'd really appreciate a like on the video as well as any comments down below. Your direct engagement with my content does help my YouTube channel. Okay, back to the video. For gear features, I'll cover the AIO, fans, and my K65 Plus, but the concepts are generally the same for each item. Okay, let's start with the AIO pump. Click on the AIO pump at the center of the home screen. Gamers will be shown another gear icon to take you to that device's settings and a device memory mode option. If you want to save your AIO cooling settings to your PC without having to use iCue, turn this feature on. Do note, if you do turn this on, gamers won't be able to see the alerts. I normally leave this feature off because I've had problems with Corsair adding alerts during updates that I couldn't see when device memory mode was on. For lighting effects, I control this all through Murals, but gamers can get very creative and assign individual lighting to the AIO, each fan, and create as much artistry as you want. The cooling feature is another heavily used one, and this is where gamers can set their fan curves across the case. I use the iCue cooling presets and keep my Corsair AIO and fans in the balance mode to reduce noise and keep my PC at a reasonable temperature. To make these changes, gamers just need to select their AIO and fans and choose an option. Depending on your ambient temperatures, you may need to adjust your settings as the seasons change. Gamers can also create custom fan curves by clicking on the plus symbol. Again, Corsair's iCue provides a very simple tool to customize your case's cooling with a custom fan curve. Once created, then just rename the fan curve and then select the fan curve you'd like to use on your AIO and fans. Alerts can be set when your gear reaches a certain temperature. I don't use these as modern motherboards are decent at controlling temperatures, but if you'd like to add alerts, iCue does provide a few options. Lastly, under the AIO, it provides a feature called Fan Setup, where gamers can quickly identify individual fans. This is a very nifty feature, as I have no idea which is fan number 1 or fan number 6. When this feature is enabled, iCue will quickly change the color of each fan so you can identify which fan is which. In addition, gamers can turn the color on or off to also further help identify fans. Once done, just click Finished. Corsair fans have similar features as the AIO pump with the additional option of time warp lighting. Gamers have additional customization options through time warp, but I prefer to use Murals. Under the iCue Link Hub, gamers can use a feature to quickly identify the fans in their rig. This is similar to the fan setup under the AIO pump. Why it's duplicated? No idea. Under your keyboard icon, gamers can change the settings for their keyboards. If you use a Corsair mouse, your mouse will also be shown on the home page. For lighting effects, again, I just stick with iCue Murals. For key assignments, gamers have a large number of options to change the Corsair key bindings. Gamers can change key bindings to different characters, foreign characters, media, and audio settings. iCue provides quite a bit of options to change key bindings, and it's nice that Corsair offers this level of customization. The control dial can be used to control a few features such as volume, RGB brightness, and a few other options. I normally just keep this on volume control. To change what the K65 Plus dial does, gamers need to push the function plus the up or down arrow. Gamers can also change what the dial does in iCue. There are a few quirky settings in iCue that require a lot of hunting around. Here are a couple settings that tend to be buried. For your storage devices to appear in the dashboard, gamers need to first turn this on. To do so, go to the main settings at the top right hand of iCue and click on the gear icon. Next, select Dashboard and then turn on Storage Device widget. After this is enabled, you can add your storage devices to the dashboard. Again, no idea why Corsair just doesn't include this in the dashboard settings, but this is how you have to do it. In the event you want to download your gear's data, iCue has a sensor logging feature under the main settings menu. To get to this settings, click on the main gear icon in the upper right-hand corner of iCue. Next, select Sensor Logging menu option, which is about 5 down from the top. From here, select where you want the data to be saved to, choose your interval, and then select the devices you would like to log. Next, select Start Logging. Gamers can stop this process anytime by clicking Stop Logging, and the file will be saved to your chosen folder. In the event you need to troubleshoot a piece of hardware, this is a really helpful tool. So that's it, a quick overview of iCue for beginners. iCue does have a ton more features, and do feel free to explore around the app to see what it has to offer. I hope this quick guide was helpful for you, and thanks for watching.